Looks like we're off for our first game. Best of one, Dipstick, JepseN. I think I've casted JepseN before. I'd have to double check. I'm pretty sure I've casted him before. It's alright. Now at least this way he doesn't have to stare at my terrible mug to go through this. Catalina, 3-player map. Gold League, Diamond. Protoss versus Terran, and I'm a little biased here. Dipstick's a good friend of mine, but I don't know, he's up against some pretty tough competition, and I don't think he's played in a tournament before, so it's also 7 in the morning, so I'm sure he just crawled the hell out of bed. Anyways, down here in the bottom right, JepseN, the Protoss is blue. Good luck and have fun, says Dipstick. Up here's the Terran in red. Now this map seems to be very, very cheese oriented, but I play on a really crappy version of ladder, so it's a good chance that that's just what I experience. So we'll see what these guys want to do, and because it's a best of one start to this tournament, I'm expecting them to play the most consistent, the most dependable strategy. And in that case, I'm not expecting cheese, unless they're just a known cheeser. Sometimes you can get away with like a cannon rush or something like that as a Protoss and still fall back on things. But I don't necessarily anticipate that. Maybe when it becomes a best of 3 or a best of 5 series, we might see a little bit more of the wonkiness come out. Now, not doing the wall off here, the point of this really is just to make sure that you know if anything's coming up your ramp. It's not necessarily to wall off, but it keeps the supply depot far enough back that it's very hard to target from stalker or mothership core pressure. Which I like. I think it's a nice way to do things. There's a lot of debate on the openings. People sometimes like to wall off just in case you run into DT openings or things like that. But against the Protoss, I'm usually quite happy to not wall off. Keep my production facilities near my command center in case there's a cheese. Protoss players not scouting yet. You generally don't have to scout super early, but it's nice in case you ran into something that's cheesy coming out of your turn. Dipstick is scouting the wrong direction, but he'll be down there in no time. Pretty quick distances between these maps. And it'll likely be a Reaper we see out of this anyways. Just the standard safe Terran versus Protoss opening we always see in these situations. And if you're tuning in, this is the first game of the Gonzy Community Cup. I want to say invitational at some point. I want to get that good at these. What the hell? Nice. Is that Artosis? I think that is Artosis. That's a really, really cool logo, banner, sigil thing. So Terran will come up here, see what's going on. The Reaper's on the way as well. Sees the timing. Probably would want to check. I think he saw if there's a third gas. I'm a big fan of just bouncing around in the base as long as possible until essentially they force you out. Looks like it's going to be a quick nexus down, which the problem sometimes as a Terran player, I run up here and I almost immediately engineering bay block, like immediately, just so that way I can screw things over. In this case, it's going to be very important for Dipstick to come down there and scout that, which he could be in some trouble if he doesn't go and do that here soon, if he doesn't see that nexus down. Well, he's going for his command center as well, so he's going to be alright. In comes the Reaper. The mothership core is going to go out there and do its job at some point, I assume. There you go, little girl. Now, I think it probably should get a kill. Yeah, Dipstick's not even paying attention to that. But he didn't see that command center yet, so hopefully he doesn't lose this Reaper before figuring that information out. Good positioning on the supply depots. Just wants to be able to check if something's going to come into his base, warp ins, flybys, early oracle detection. Pulls 2 out of gas as well. 3 racks. He is going straight on for the throat here, it looks like. But this is also with an expansion. So I like this opening from him here, and that might just be because he knows he's going up against a very challenging player in this first round. Wants to open up with something that's going to keep him safe, but perhaps go and put aggression on the other side. Robo going down. Might just want to be able to use that to get on an observer or 2. Widowmine drops just a pain in the butt right now. Tech lab going down. The reactor is first, so he's going to get out a ton of Marines with this. Problem is if he's going for like say a combat shield push or something like that, it's going to be over a minute before he's going to be across the map. Finally taking the rest of the gas here. Fairly polished looking little build. Needs to get that orbital changed over as soon as he can. There he goes. And rally that command center over to that mineral line. So let's look at the economy right now. You can see that Dipstick's not super far behind. His command center was a bit later, but with double orbitals, Should be doing alright. Really fast Colossus tech. Now, if Dipstick... Is he gonna get it? He might get a couple of probes here. No focus. Oh, he got it too. Now he's gonna lose this. If he sees this Colossus tech, in my mind that would trigger a push. I'd get out a good chunk of army here, and I'd be moving across that map really soon, because he's invested so much into tech. He doesn't really have any army. He's got 2 stalkers and a mothership core to his name. And though the overcharge is great, you can just run past it or potentially shoot this down. He is going for stim pack, so he'll likely be waiting for that before he actually commits to any type of aggression. Bit of a supply block going on. Just have 1 supply depot finishing up here pretty soon. When you're going off of 3 racks, you're probably going to want to be getting down more supply depots just regularly. Little bit of nerves here. We can see he hasn't rallied his command center yet. Bit of a problem on this side. And you run into that as a lower league player sometimes. You just got a lot of things on your mind, and before you know it, you've got 5 or 6 SCVs built up here, and you're like, why am I not doing stuff? That's why you got to keep your eye on that idle workers tab, just to let you know what's going on. Protoss player hit a bit of supply block for a second, but now he's fine. Chrono boosting out that thermal lance. If he can get out 1 or 2 Colossus with thermal lance, he is going to be pretty safe until Vikings come out. So I'm not thinking we're going to be seeing a push here out of Dip. Maybe. Might be able to hit a good timing here. Once again, getting supply blocked. Stim pack is going to be finished up, so this could be a pretty powerful timing. If he can get in here and either snipe that first Colossus or kill out a mineral line, I would actually be quite happy with that. But he needs to keep moving with this if he's going to get that damage in. There he goes. Forge and Twilight on the way. He's going to start working on those upgrades. Wouldn't mind seeing that armor upgrade and start focusing on Zealots to back up the Colossus. Maybe get charged down. There's the armor upgrade. It's just so tanky against this kind of bio-focus, particularly early bio-focus pressure. Lots of Marines really get destroyed by a lot of charged Zealots with armor. Now the Protoss player, I believe, is aware of this. I don't know if he caught it with an observer. Stim is done. No, don't focus the Nexus. Not the best target fire. Oh, that was too bad. When you're coming up here like this, it's almost impossible you're going to snipe that Nexus. But if you were to hit the mineral line and hold position around, you probably could have got 5 or 6 probes. At least something to make that more worth his while. Threw away a lot of army and didn't get a lot of value out of it. Now the second Colossus on the way. Thermal Lance is done. Blink coming as well. It's going to be pretty tough for him to move out against this. And JepseN here is not in a big panic. He's not going for a 2-base all-in push. He's actually going to be going for this nice 3-base macro game. The problem for Dipstick here, even though he keeps building SCVs, is if he doesn't get himself kind of into that macro mindset as well, he's actually going to be in a fair bit of trouble. Vikings are on the way, along with some more units. Observer is coming in, but he doesn't see the army build up here. And as the Protoss, even if I saw it, I wouldn't be super worried. 2 Colossus with Thermal Lance, +1 coming pretty soon. More gateways going down. Ah, there is the 3rd command center. And he's interestingly expanding towards his opponent. And this might be because he wants to throw down a planetary to rally from, which wouldn't be too bad in my mind. Sometimes it's good to get that as a 3rd orbital, get that macro just flying across. But, this is going to be a very interesting bit of attack. It's not that big of an army. He's got a lead. He might be able to come over and cancel this, but coming up here and doing damage, pretty tough. He can do some pot shots with some Vikings, but he's really not going to be able to get in there and get a ton of damage off. More idle workers kicking around in here. So again, really focusing on the macro side and the micro, but missing a couple of these subtleties. I don't know if that's the best place for the observer. I mean, you get to see this mineral line working on stuff. Terran doesn't really need gas right now, otherwise I'd be a little bit more critical about that. Oh no, he's going to try to get on the Colossus. He's going to get 1. The scan I'm a little confused about. Save the Vikings. Save the Vikings. Well, killing the mothership core at least. And then he got... If he stayed on the high ground, he actually might have been able to get out of there. A little bit of a misrally here. He's got to watch throwing away some of these free units. Killing the Colossus and the mothership core is nice, but once again, that was a lot of army he ditched. That was a nice wig out there on that Marauder. Yeah. And no, it's not. It's going to be an orbital. Has he got any of his upgrades on the way? No, I don't think he's got any engineering. No, he's got one back here finally. But he's going to be so far back in upgrades by the time those get rolling. +1 armor done, +2 armor. It's going to be finished here soon. I believe he researched Storm out of that, if I saw correctly, when I was scooting around. Yeah, Storm is done, Colossus are done, upgrades are ahead. Look at the economy. Actually, Terran's ahead in economy. I don't think I'd ever say that against Dipstick. Usually that's not his forte. But in his mind, he should feel pretty far behind at this point. Like, just throwing away a couple of armies, not getting a ton of damage in, means that I would be, throwing down a few extra bunkers, really just trying to power out that army, because it's gonna be a bit of an uphill battle. Now, at least he got all of his upgrades from his barracks here, but once again, 1-1 not on the way. And if he ends up going against, these zealots here that have +2 armor, giving them 3 armor, and his marines, what do? Was it 5, 6? Damage 6? They do half the amount of damage they normally would against these zealots here, and that's going to be pretty hard on him. Charge, not that far, +3 armor on the way, and if that gets done, that army's just not going to die against like anything that Dipstick has here. Cloak and Ghosts. Now, if he gets the Ghost control out here and hits some EMPs, he might be able to change the landscape a bit. But the Protoss player has the army he wants, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see him put some light pressure on. Bit of a supply block going on. Scan doesn't see anything, unfortunately. There's only 2 Colossus right now. I say only 2 Colossus, but I don't think there's much for Vikings right now out of Dipstick. He's had to prioritize getting out some medevacs. Wouldn't mind seeing even some more bunkers down here, just to be a little bit more safe. I actually tried to hit an EMP, but I don't think an EMP hit anything. Accidentally picks up one of the medevacs right now. He's trying to do his best micro, his best flash impersonation here. Oh man, those upgrades are just killing it. You see the zealots just aren't dying at the front here. And he feedbacks the ghosts for good measure. Oh man, probably could have pulled the SCVs to try stuff. At this point, he is trying to attack with it, but he's lost so much army. He's so far down in upgrade and supply. Just a solid, simple game out of JepseN there, and I'm pretty sure that's just going to be GG. Feel a little bad for Dipstick, but he actually had a really good build there. I think that was a really, really good build from him. It just missing out on some of the upgrades and not getting in that damage with that early stim timing really set him back, unfortunately. As we can see, these zealots once again just aren't dying. High Templars just running up there and saying hi. There's the GG. JepseN's going to take that one in a pretty convincing fashion, though.